In my last episode, I asked a question that almost felt taboo. Is there even job security anymore? Are the time for money jobs becoming a thing of the past? And based on the response to that episode, it showed me something really important. And that's, I am not the only one feeling this way. So for those of us who feel that we got the practical degree and built a stable career, we showed up, we were loyal to those companies, we delivered, and still our entire team, our jobs, were eliminated overnight. It's happening everywhere. If you look at the news, if you look at LinkedIn, it's impacting so many amazing people. So the question now is not whether or not job security exists. It's how do we live in a world where it might not? Because panic and fear, those aren't great strategies. And pretending that this isn't happening either, well, that's not great either. I've been thinking a lot about what feels stable right now and what doesn't. And here's what I keep coming back to. Security used to mean attachment. Attachment to a job, attachment to a company, attachment to a title or a role. But those things, as we've seen, can disappear at any moment. So security now has to mean something different. Maybe it has to mean adaptability. Not scrambling, not always hustling, but building an intentional life around stability that isn't tied to just one single point of failure. For me, it's making me ask different questions. Instead of how do I get back to what I had before, I'm asking what skills do I have that I can take with me wherever I may be headed. So my ability to lead, my ability to communicate, my empathy, my ownership, my ability to regulate myself under immense pressure, and my ability to deal with ambiguity. Those things, they don't belong to a company. They belong to me. And in that realization, it's very grounding. Because I'm also thinking, well, how do I diversify? Not in like a 24/7 grind it out kind of way, but in a resilient way. What if one income disappears? Is there another? What if one job is eliminated? Can I pivot to something else? And what if one path closes? Do I know how to open up another one? But there's another layer to all of this that really isn't talked about, and that's your nervous system. It truly matters in this economy. Because if you're constantly in fight or flight, refreshing job boards and refreshing your email, hoping that a recruiter has reached out or responded to your application, spiraling about the future and bills and bracing for impact, you're going to make fear-based decisions. You're going to grab the first thing that feels safe. You're going to shrink and you're going to cling onto what you knew. I've done that before, and this time, I don't want to build my next chapter from panic and fear, because I want to make this big decision, this next way forward, from a place of safety. So how am I doing that? Breathing, being out in nature, going outside and slowing down, sitting with myself and letting my body realize that I am not under a physical threat. Because clarity, it doesn't come from urgency, it comes from steadiness. And in a changing job market, steadiness might be the rarest asset of all. The truth is, I don't think we're ever going back to the old model, the one that our parents grew up in, where you can climb the ladder, retire in your mid-60s with a pension or this robust 401k. The world is shifting. Technology is evolving, industries are consolidating, and companies are optimizing. They don't care about loyalty anymore. So the safest position now isn't about being indispensable to a company, but being adaptable as a person. Tapping into your creativity and your strengths. So maybe that means having more skills, more relationships, more income streams. Maybe it's just redefining what success is completely. For me, that's what this season has become. Not just what job do I go to next? It's more of what kind of life am I building with my husband? What does sustainable look like for my family? What feels aligned with my goals? What feels steady and safe? Because if external security is becoming more and more fragile, the internal security is everything. I don't have a perfectly packaged plan, but I do know that my sense of safety can't be outsourced anymore. Not to a company, not to a title, not to a paycheck. And maybe that's how we navigate this evolving job market. Not by clinging on to what we used to know, but becoming more adaptable, trusting ourselves, and regulating our nervous system. So if job security isn't guaranteed anymore, what are you going to build instead?